Hello there, and welcome to Hope Learning Center's 2024-2025 school year. I am creating this video for you since you were not able to attend the back to school night, which was last week on August 26th. One of these days I'm going to get the technology to record the actual meeting, but since I don't have that, I'm just going to record this one for you here to try to get you the important information that you need for the school year. So attached to the email where you found this video, you'll see a bunch of documents. Please print those documents before you go any further in this video because I will be referring to those documents. So go ahead and pause, print, and then I will cover this as quickly as I can. So the first thing I want to go over is the calendar. So it's the document that looks like that. So at the top of that document, you will see our mailing address. Please send all mail correspondence to the P.O. box. Please don't send it to the church's physical address. It's just, there's a chance for it to get lost. If you send it to the P.O. box, we will be sure to get that. You can see the phone number there and the email. At the bottom of this page, you'll see an absentee line. So if your child is going to be absent from a class, please call the absentee line or send a text. And when you do that, if you send a text, please make sure that you put your name and your child's name, because we'll just get the number. We won't necessarily know it's you. So put that detailed information, which class they're going to be missing, and then our receptionist will get that information to their teacher in a timely manner. As far as the rest of that page, you can see that it's a calendar, really cool color-coded calendar that Lisa put together with all the important dates. Please keep these dates in mind. All right, and then there's another page on, not on the back of it, but probably a separate document about attending your child's first class. Now, we already got through our first round of that because Tuesday and Wednesday, September 3rd and 4th, we had classes, and so all of those classes already met. But if your child has a Monday class, you will be meeting, coming to class with them this coming Monday, September 9th, to meet their teacher and to hear about the teacher's expectations and what you can do at home to support your child. We like to communicate that we are a partnership with you. It takes the parent, student, and teacher. Since we meet minimally with the students, we only meet 1 time to 3 times a week, depending on what class they're taking. You need to be supporting your student at home. So we are partners. We lay out the courses, but you help us at home to make sure that things are getting done. So we look forward to partnering with you in the homeschooling of your children. We are here to support you, to help you grow in your confidence, and all of those things. So we look forward to this. All right, so now let's just see, there's a family newsletter. You can look at that, you can read it. I don't need to read it for you. I trust that you all can read. I would like to point out that we do have Remind. So in case of inclement weather or last minute announcements, you need to sign up for Remind. It is just one of the ways that we communicate. There is on that newsletter, you'll see there is October 19th, we're having a harvest party at the EP home for middle school, that is for high schoolers. So please consider that. I think it'll be a fun time for them to hang out. I also want to mention that we have started a Slack channel. If you don't know what that is, you can probably Google it. It's an online platform for communication. So we are going to make a Slack channel, a general channel for all of the Learning Center, but then a channel for each class. We are hoping that you can ask each other questions there, hopefully help each other figure things out, or carpooling. I always liked carpooling when my own children were taking classes. It was very helpful to find carpools, things like that. Or you want to get together, you want the contact information of someone, that will be a great place to communicate. So be watching for that. Lisa will be sending or inviting you to that, so please consider joining Slack. I think you'll be glad you did. It'll help create more community. You can get to know people, ask questions, and all those good things. You also have a handout for Teacher Ease. This is what you're going to look at for Teacher Ease. Now, Teacher Ease is mostly for our middle school and high school students, because that is where we keep the grades. And for elementary And part of middle school, we don't issue traditional grades. So depending on your child's class, you may or may not be on Teacher Ease. So check with your teacher and they will confirm whether or not you need to check that. But please, if your child is getting grades and we've asked you to check on Teacher Ease, please keep track of that. I would recommend going on it weekly just to see, to make sure that your student is handing in all of their work and that things are looking good. You will see a handout for HLC elementary student. We only need this to be filled out for our elementary students. So if you have an elementary student, please fill this out and get it to Lisa Honnell as soon as possible. All right, now you have a contract. We need everybody to sign this contract. And as you can see, this is the HLC Teacher Parent Student Contract. I want to start by telling you about the verse that's on there, 2 Timothy 2:15. That verse is, "Study to show thyself approved unto God, a worker who is not ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth." So these are, in a sense, kind of our rules and regulations, our expectations. We want to be very clear about what our expectations are so that there's less confusion and we can work more closely together if we all understand what the expectations are. And as 2 Timothy says, it's to really glorify God. It's not to look good on the outside or to be legalistic or anything like that, but it's to honor God. And that's why we do everything we do at Hope Learning Center, because our mission is to partner with parents to help them with their homeschooling, to raise godly men and women. So I think that we would agree that your goal is to raise godly men and women, and it's our goal to come alongside you to help you to that end. So everything we do, we try to come back to that mission statement because it's really important to know why we're doing something. All right, so let's start with the expectations of students. I am going to read through this. I know you can read, but I think it's really helpful to hear it as well. So I'm going to take the time to remind you and tell you verbally, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this. All right, so we ask that students complete homework every week. High school students are expected to spend about 1 to 2 hours per day of the week for each 1 credit class. Elementary students will have a checklist of the things that they are supposed to be working on at home. So please make sure that your student is doing that every single week. There are things that they can be working on. Some weeks will probably be more than others, but there will always be something. So please complete the homework every single week. Turn in your homework on time. Unexcused late work will only be accepted for a week, and even after a week, it will be marked down. And after a week, it's not accepted at all. It'll just be a 0. Then number 3, plagiarism is serious and it will not be tolerated. There's so many online tools which can help us, but it can really get us into trouble if we are just copying them. We need it to be your brain on the paper, so to speak. You have lots to say, and we want to hear what you have to say. Number 4, check with your teacher for their preferred form of communication. If your teacher's preferred form is texting, you need to have 3 people on the text. We do not want students and teachers to text each other individually. There needs to be a 3rd and 4th party on that. So a parent should be included on that text. And we also have the HLC absentee line that you can include on that text as well. It's just a safety thing. Number 5, come to class on time with everything needed. Be ready to participate. We want to hear from you, students. Even if it's uncomfortable for you to talk, you're going to need to learn how to talk. You all have something to say, and we want to hear from you. Number 6, display a respectful attitude to all teachers, staff, and your classmates and parents that are in the classroom. Number 7, while at Bethel Community Church, limit building use to designated student areas only. We will make that clear to you when you come. We'll show you what rooms are available for in-between classes. Please do not linger in the foyer where you check in because it can get really loud. And we have Bethel office staff and pastors studying and working, and they do a lot of quiet work. So they need to be able to concentrate. And if we're really loud in the foyer, that's going to negatively impact their work time. So please respect them and just come in and move along when you're done. And when you're in the foyer, keep the voice levels down, please. Number 8, no horseplay or public displays of affection. We will call parents if we need to. Number 9, please clean up after yourselves. Let's leave the place cleaner than when we came. Number 10, parents will be notified of behavior issues immediately, and the student may be asked to leave, or the parent might be asked to accompany the student to class. Number 11, no cell phones in class. You have plenty of time to be on your cell phones. Of course, if there's an emergency, we would let you use it, but we only have you for 2 to 3 hours a week, and so we don't have time to be on cell phones. Let's interact with each other. It's very healthy for you to interact with those around you. You will always have that cell phone, so don't waste your in-person time on your cell phone. Number 12, while students are attending classes at Hope Learning Center, they need to stay on campus unless they drive themselves. No weapons allowed of any kind. Modest and appropriate dress is the expectation while at HLC. So you can see the expectations there. No undergarments exposed, no bare midriffs, skirts, dresses, and shorts must be a reasonable length. And if any unusual situation comes up, we might ask you to leave or change if needed. So those are pretty much all of the expectations of the students. Next, I would like to go over the expectations of the parents. Number 1, parents are required to attend their child's first class. If you weren't able to do that, please arrange to talk to the teacher so that they can communicate with you the expectations. If you still have one coming up, which will be this coming Monday, please do everything possible to attend. That way we can all be on the same page as much as possible. Number 3, please observe and assist your student during the week to make sure they are spending adequate time on their work, and help them along the way. You can learn right along with them. Adequate time, again, is 1 to 2 hours per subject per day. Elementary students need to complete their checklist each week. Of course, the time taken will vary from student to student, but generally speaking, those are the times we like to see. Number 4, encourage your student to turn in their homework on time. Now, of course, I want you to encourage them, but also sometimes, logical, natural consequences are needed, and if we don't want you turning their work in for them. So if you've encouraged them and they're still not doing it, we can be the heavy for you, so to speak. Like, we will help push them to get it turned in as well. But we want you to encourage them. That's your job. Number 5, since HLC classes don't meet every day of the week, the teacher and parent are in a partnership. So we might ask you to help do a few things, like do some basic correcting of the papers. We do the lion's share of it. But there might be some things that we ask you to help with, and definitely you'll be helping plan their time management. Number 6, please keep your child home if they're sick. You know them best, but if there's a fever over 100.4, chills, cough, runny nose, shortness of breath, fatigue, headache, all those kinds of things, please keep them home. Let's try to keep the Learning Center as healthy as possible. We will help them to make up whatever they miss. Number 7, we don't have a nurse on site. So if there's a medical situation beyond basic first aid, we will call you immediately. A teacher will stay with them until you come, but we can't really do much other than that. Number 8, for families that pay monthly directly to HLC, there's a late payment fee if you don't pay within 2 weeks. And number 9, withdrawal procedure. Please note that to withdraw from a class, the first thing we want you to do is to contact your student's teacher to let him or her know the reason for the withdrawal, and talk with them a little bit before just up and withdrawing. Make sure that it's really necessary. Perhaps something can be worked out between you and the teacher. The second thing you need to do is contact Lisa to proceed with the withdrawal. And then the third thing, there is a withdrawal fee of $25 since there's some administrative tasks that we need to do that. We will refund any unused tuition money. We will prorate that. But please keep this procedure in mind. I think it's really important to go directly to the teacher. Our culture these days, it's like we don't want to go face the person that we have an issue with. Not that there's necessarily an issue with a withdrawal, but there might be. There might be a misunderstanding that maybe you could work out. But even if there isn't a misunderstanding, I want you to start with the teacher first. Number 10, check with your teacher for their preferred method of communication. I kind of mentioned that before. Please make sure if your child is the one doing the texting, they need to include another adult. If you're texting the teacher, one-on-one is fine. Number 11, volunteering is required for parents. So we ask for 20 hours per year on one of the volunteer teams. And if you're unable to volunteer, then we ask that you pay a $250 volunteer opt-out contribution. This is very important in the operation of our Learning Center. We do our best to keep our tuition rates down, but there are just lots of tasks that need to be done that you can help with. Number 12, please don't drop payments off at the Learning Center. It's much better to pop it in the mail or pay via Venmo or your bank. Please pre-arrange all of that with Lisa, but generally speaking, don't drop them off and hand them to people. We just find that they can get misplaced that way, and we don't want payments getting misplaced, as I'm sure you can understand. All right, the expectations of our teachers. So our teachers will provide a clear syllabus with assignments and their due dates. Elementary syllabus will look a little bit different. It's more like a checklist each week, but we use different methods. Elementary usually has a folder with a checklist. High school, typically we're using Google Classroom to communicate most of that, but some teachers have handouts as well. We will, as teachers, number 2, we will keep Google Classroom up to date with homework, assignments, and extra materials needed. So Google Classroom is the place where assignments will be given and turned in. Some will be given in person, but Google Classroom is our platform for that. Teacher Ease is the grade book. So that's kind of the difference between the two. Google Classroom, assignments, turn them in. Teacher Ease is where all of the grades are. That's the grade book. We will, as teachers, plan and teach lessons each week based on the syllabus. We will stay current with Academy Northwest expectations for accredited courses. We will provide grades and feedback on homework that is turned in on time. Homework that's turned in late won't be graded. Number 6, be available to answer questions during designated hours. So each teacher will have time frames that they are available, so please find that out from your individual teacher because they vary by teacher. And number 7, again, just to say again that all those text messages should include teacher, student, and parent and HLC line. It's just a safety issue. I'm sure that you can understand that. And this doesn't usually happen, and we hope it doesn't ever happen, but if there are 3 breaches of this contract, that will result in the student's withdrawal. So I'm sure we won't get there, but we just need to say that these things are very important, and we want this to be a positive situation, so it's important to set out those expectations on the front end. So please read through that. I want your student to read through it as well because they have their section. We need to get these back signed. So please sign just that last page. We don't need you to scan the whole thing. Please sign and date that back page and make sure that you get that sent to Lisa as soon as possible. So again, Mrs. Sager, Director of Hope Learning Center, I welcome you and look forward to this new school year. And I do want to mention, I didn't mention in the beginning, but as you all know, our beloved Miss Baker is struggling with a cancer diagnosis. She had surgery. Surgery went well. She's recovering well. Unfortunately, she does have to undergo some chemotherapy treatment, so this will be a rough year for her, but we are still here. We are still offering her classes. We have plans to cover them, and they will still be in person. She's going to be making some videos, but we are also supplementing them with in-person teachers. So that is definitely a prayer. Please be praying for Miss Baker and that she can recover and overcome this. The outcome is looking positive. She just has a rough road this year to go through. with all of the chemotherapy treatments and things. So please reach out with questions. You can reach Lisa Honnell or myself, and we will be happy to answer any questions that you have. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.